A shout out to our podcast sponsor, sportsponsorship.co.uk. If you or your business are interested in making a real difference to the Scottish game, supporting hundreds of kids into regular football, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk and they'll find the right fit for your brand. Hello and welcome to Tinpot. This is episode 25 and it's again a Scotland special. My name is Tom Leask, I'm your host, and we're joined as always by Matthew Strugnall, Andrew Guild.
Hello.
And for 1 week only, a very special guest, a Tartan Army member who has travelled all across Europe and given it up in recent years for a business that sponsors this very podcast. It's James Leask of Nooch Bar and Kitchen. How are you, James? You well?
Yay.
Good evening, lads. Very well. Thanks for having me. Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure is all ours. For those who are listening to James's tones for the first time, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just getting to know him with some quick-fire questions before we dive into this week's pod. So, just to put you on the spot, James, straight away, 10 questions coming up for you. Your favourite player to watch in Scotland, apart from a player for your own team?
Currently, I have to say, probably from Hearts, Claudio Braga springs to mind. I think he's off the cuff, bit of a maverick, suits for fun. Decent player to watch, and has kind of been at the kind of the centre of Hearts' season this year. So yeah, I'd love him at United.
Excellent. Claudio Braga, the man who's going to stop the old firm.
Also, great song, superb song. I'd love to sing that.
Yeah, it's a banger. I'd say it's a banger as well.
No, it's great.
2 votes for, 1 vote against. Matt, where's your vote? For or against the Claudio Braga song?
Someone have to sing it to me, because I don't know.
He doesn't know it?
Nah, mate, I don't follow elite level football. I'm a championship man.
You stick with the Rovers. James, the best feeling you've had in a football stadium?
As it's a Scotland podcast this time, I'll have to say Anya's goal against Germany and Dortmund. That was right up there. Kind of first real away trip to Scotland. Didn't get the win, but didn't really matter at the time. First and second free kick against England, right up there. That was bedlam. So those are probably lots of them are kind of following Scotland away. They're the top.
Joint best feelings, the Westfalenstadion. And then it was only a few weeks later, I think, that we were denied independence, but we won't get into the politics of this because Matt and Andrew have different views to myself. Your favourite Scotland goal? It might be the same as what you've just said, but perhaps not.
Favourite Scotland goal? Griffith's second free kick. Well, I mean, they're both pretty similar, so they're up there. And wasn't there, but McFadden. Cliche, classic answer. McFadden, Paris. Watching it on the sofa in Jedburgh on Ronnie's Sky, right up there.
World class. Yeah, you can have an answer, I suppose, for a game that you were at and the one that you weren't. So you've ticked both boxes. Who's the current best manager in football that is Scottish by nationality, in your opinion?
You've probably got to go McInnes. Again, a pretty boring answer.
Deke over Clarke on a Scotland episode.
I think McInnes would probably get as much, if not more, out of the team than Clarke, to be honest.
Agreed. Yeah.
I am a Clarke in man. Don't get me wrong. I am a devout follower of Sir Steve. But if you look at McInnes, it's controversy already. Love it. If you look at what he's done.
Tam.
Yeah, no. There's one reason you're invited on. It's to back me up with a Steve Clarke argument, and you just picked Deke.
No, we'll get into Clarke later. But I think McInnes, success at St Johnstone, success at Aberdeen, success at Kilmarnock, so far at Hearts, success. At whatever level he's been at, he failed in England, but he didn't get that long. I think his brand of football now as well is a bit sexier. He used to be called a dinosaur and long ball merchant, but I think his kind of brand of football's back in at the minute. It's forward fast, and it's the kind of football I think I would prefer to watch. like there's more chances in the box, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, same McInnes. That was a bit long-winded.
No, you're fine. Fair enough. We won't dwell. Favorite football cult hero?
It's got to be Gordon Greer.
That's the man seat over your left shoulder.
So he is. It doesn't matter what corner of the house you're in. There's a photo of Gordon Greer up somewhere.
Gordon Greer face mask, perhaps, for the bedroom.
Yeah.
I think probably half your thousands of listeners probably don't know who Gordon Greer is, but for the uneducated, he played 11 times for Scotland, kept 7 clean sheets at the back, with only 1 defeat against France away in Metz. Uncultured, head it, no nonsense centre back. Beautiful hair, and mountain, Colossus. Should have been capped way more for Scotland in my eyes, but yeah, Gordon Greer.
I was going to say a proper meat and potatoes defender, but I can't really get away with that as we have a vegan on the pod, a Russell Martin type.
Corn and potatoes, I would say.
Corn and tatties defender, lovely.
Just potatoes and potatoes, no?
Oh, double
Potatoes
tatty.
two ways.
Double tatty.
Right, on to a football and food-based question. Since you are a restaurant man, what scram would you like to see sold at football games?
Well, it's got to be a vegan option, isn't it? Really, it's got to.
Cress.
Can't say something else. Vegan macaroni pie. I used to eat them. That was my go-to at the football. Pre being a fussy eater, you know. Macaroni pies were the staple. Vegan mac pie.
Lovely.
Which, if you're heading to Hampden tomorrow night, I've whipped up a batch and I'll be bringing it in my pockets.
It's incredible news.
Not paying £4 for a Hampden pie.
Pocket pie, what a treat.
Oh, keeps it nice and warm.
It'll keep me warm, hopefully. That's the plan. Right, we've got 4 more questions. We'll fire through these. What is the best game you've been to outside of Scotland?
Probably touched on some of them already, but I'll go for a different one. The opening game of the Euros last year. The whole build-up, everything about it. Anthems, just been at the opening game of the Euros, Scotland v Germany. Yeah, right up there.
The opening ceremony, world class. Who would be the first name on your team sheet if you were Scotland manager for the next 2 years? If you had to put one name on that sheet for every game over the next 2 years, who would it be?
I'd probably say Aaron Hickey. I think he's the closest we've got to somebody that can be properly world class. I think without that injury he had, he'd be there already. I think he'd be at Man City or somebody in Europe ahead of Brentford. I think culture on both feet, can defend, comfortable in midfield. Yeah, Aaron Hickey.
Lovely stuff. A different answer to what most people might have given there, but interesting. Which stadium has impressed you the most when you've visited? I'm assuming not Hampden. It gets a lot of criticism.
I don't know. I've got a lot of love for Hampden. I think being a youngster, going up the stairs and seeing Hampden for the first time as a kind of first big stadium we went to, it still holds a place. And when it's full, and it's hopefully as in it tomorrow night or tonight as this podcast goes out, it's one of those special nights. It can be really good. But Dortmund Stadium was head and shoulders above anything I've been to before. It's kind of built for the fan. It's steep. Great atmosphere. Yeah, Dortmund.
And a good selection of Scran in the German stadiums. And yeah, I'm glad that you didn't say Wembley, as our previous guest had said. That would have been a bit of a disaster on this episode in particular. And finally, probably the most philosophical question of the lot, the deepest one. What one thing would you change about Scottish football to improve the experience for fans? Or just improve the game?
Take it very unphilosophical. Just sell us beer.
That's starting to creep in, isn't it? Aberdeen have got it sorted for December, and St Johnstone are as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if those pilots go well, I see. It's been 40 odd years since the ban. Like it's stupid.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Like the vast majority, especially the vast majority of games, like the lower league games, your run-of-the-mill football games, like I can see an old firm, maybe the police having a bit of an issue with it, but I can't see folk are getting tanked up on all sorts beforehand anyway, and then rushing it like it's
and sneaking it into the ground, which is arguably worse because you're going to sneak in a glass bottle instead of like a plastic cup that they get served it in. So
Yeah, so
more money for
Give
the football clubs.
give us lukewarm beer in a plastic tumbler at £6.
Yes, please.
That's one way to solve all the problems of Scottish football. Lovely stuff. Well, yeah, that's us getting to know our guest, James Leask, but we've not really heard too much from Matt and Andrew. Just briefly, gents, what's happening with you? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm alright, mate. Got some bad news on Friday. I visited the dentist. I have to get a root canal, root canal treatment.
No.
So the boy's like, oh, you can get root canal or you can get it knocked out. And I was like, well, getting it knocked out is cheaper, right? But it's one of the teeth that you can sort of see when I smile, so I have to, swallow my my stinginess. I'm gonna get the root canal, so it's painful and expensive. So that's a brilliant treat. I'm getting it done before Christmas. So sorry, kids, you're not getting any gifts this year, right? Your father drinks too much.
I was going to say that's all the fizzy drinks, the monsters, and not using your straw enough. Eh?
This is a 2-year issue that I've had with this tooth, so it's not a recent development. The straws have done well. He said the teeth at the front were good, so the straw has been a success. Other than that, the rest of them are fucking rotten. So great stuff.
Maybe do like a wee Just Giving page or something. Get
Uh-huh.
like all of our sort of followers, like put £1 in each. Maybe give you sort of £5 off your
get £5 off
your bill. You know.
I've got an NHS dentist, but like most of the stuff isn't on the NHS that this requires. So we'll see what we can do on the cheap. I've not paid for it yet.
It's cheap. Just ask for no laughing gas to knock you out, and just be like, knock that off the price.
I should have just Tom Hanks the bad boy and gone home and got myself an ice skate and just fucking smashed it myself, but unfortunately...
What a great actor Tom Hanks is.
I think there's probably a few Falkirk fans that do that for you for free, but...
I know. So yeah, other than that, it's another expense coming off my my life after my new washing machine. I'm a Hoover's
washing machine
as well, but...
Was it? And your Game Boy as well, remember? That was money down the drain.
I've not played that enough to know if it's broken yet, so... I do have Football Manager on my phone now, so that's been taking up some of my time instead.
Nice.
Other than that, maybe I should just ask Santa for the root canal voucher.
No laptop, just ask for root canal instead.
Yeah, so that's my week, absolutely shite. I won't go into a rant about how things break again, we'll just move on. That.
Brutal.
Smashing. Andrew, what's happening with you? You said you've been rather busy.
Yeah, been pretty busy in all senses of the word. So just heading away to Manchester for a few days. So it's been getting prepared for that. But whole household has got a case of the old Danes. So we're hanging on for dear life in here. Hoping this podcast doesn't last too long because could be some pretty explosive content. But it's been a rough ride over the last couple of days, I got to say. So apart from that. Yeah, nothing really interesting. Just not very much sleep because of the fear of shitting myself. So that's really it. But yeah, nothing else to report, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully some good news for you both coming up in the next 24 hours as Scotland take on Denmark. We'll get to that game in just a bit. But this whole episode, we've got James on for loads of reasons because he's great chat for all those other small bits and pieces, but because he is an avid Scotland fan and will be at Hampden tomorrow, has followed the team for years, as we all have. So we're going to start off with dissecting that Greece game from Saturday night, talking about perhaps Craig Gordon's return in goals. We could look at John McGinn being frustrated with the ref and only adding on 4 minutes, but those are just two tiny bits of what a mental rollercoaster night it was. And when Belarus took 2 points off Denmark to keep us in with a chance of getting to the World Cup next year directly. It finished 3-2 over in Athens to the home side after Scotland went 3-0 down within about an hour or so. Goals from Ben Gannon-Doak and Ryan Christie brought it back to 3-2, as I'm sure everyone listening will know. But it wasn't enough to get the point that we thought we needed. And last week when we were sort of previewing the match, we'd all sort of said, we need a draw, we need a win, we need a draw, we need a win. When no one had the permutation of what happens if we lose and Denmark draw. So it's thrown a bit of a curveball. But yeah, we've all watched the game. Biggest takeaways from your perspective, Jim? You've been sort of messaging me back and forth about it, but share your thoughts with the class.
Yeah, I think it was not a tale of two halves, but a tale of the two sides of the Scotland team, the good and the bad. So the first half an hour or so, and the kind of first 10 minutes of the second half, was everything that's bad about this kind of current Scotland team. The press was all over the gaff. There was massive gaps between the midfield and the kind of central defenders. The first goal, Hanley and Suter go for the same ball, and are so exposed. And yeah, the press was completely off. We're so far off it. Allowed Greece's good players. Karetsas is unbelievable, by the way. He's going to be a superstar, I think. But we just allowed them so much room to do the good things that they can do. That they exposed us at Hampden in exactly the same way, but we didn't learn from that. Because I suppose we got the result, so it didn't really matter at the end of the day. But, and then you move on to the positive side with 3-0 down, and then throwing caution to the wind. Everything that's good about this Scotland team, so McTominay, McGinn, Christie, high energy, getting Doak, Gannon Doak.
Gannon Doak,
right.
come on now.
Sorry. Gotta get lambasted there if I don't get that one right. Gannon Doak up the right. Andy Robertson of old. His cross for the Christie goal is unbelievable. All of a sudden, everyone's 10, 15 yards higher, and that kind of gap between the back four and the midfield's not so big. We're going to squeeze the game much better. Good players are getting the ball higher up the pitch. Christie, McTominay, McGinn get into the box where their danger is. And that's where goals came from. If we've got any chance against Denmark, we need to be much, much more compact, but higher up the pitch. We can't sit and let them dictate the ball. But yeah, I think the kind of momentum is now with us. The last half hour was really good, so I just hope we take that into the Denmark game.
Yeah, I sort of watched the game back. I don't know if this is embarrassing to admit, but on the train down the road on Sunday from Aberdeen, it was 2 hours, so I watched the game back in full because I felt that when you watch a game with emotion and you're like, right, shit, we need a draw, and every chance you're shouting at the TV and blah, blah, blah. I feel like it can cloud how you see the game sometimes, so I watched it back on Sunday, and for me it was split almost equally into a game of 3/3. The first half an hour was rank rotten, then before halftime and just after halftime we sort of turned up a wee bit, created a few decent chances, could have gone in level, and then could have again equalised the other side of halftime. Then we had an off spell, sort of 10 minutes, where they got 2 goals back to back. So that middle sort of 30 minutes was half and half, maybe mostly us. And then the last half hour was obviously all Scotland, really. And it's been a trend, I think, of the last 4 or 5 games, hasn't it? Where we start slow. We were the same against Greece at Hampden, same against Denmark away. The first 20 minutes were rank rotten. So we really need to start fast against Denmark. I think if you let them have a goal, the difference between Denmark and Greece is if Denmark get a lead, I think they can defend it far better. Greece's defence is pretty poor. So that to me is the difference. Matthew, what was your major emotion on Saturday after watching the game?
Well, I just kind of felt like, well, I'd been a parent myself when you say to your kids, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed, you know? It was a bit disappointing. Particularly the lineup, the way we started, the team he picked was the same. Am I right in thinking it was the same that started against Greece at Hampden? Is that right? Which was
minus Gordon came
yeah,
in.
obviously the goalkeeper, which was strange because we were so outplayed for a lot of that game. I thought that he may have added an extra man in the midfield and pushed Christie further forward. But yeah, I was a bit frustrated, obviously, and then I was excited, and then I was annoyed at the referee. I was annoyed at the referee. He's getting my actual annoyance because he was an idiot. How can you have him 4 minutes at the end? I'm sorry, but that was ridiculous. Anyway, and then I've sort of calmed down a bit, and I've been listening to stuff on the radio and the podcast, and now I'm feeling optimistic. So I don't know. I'm like every Scotland fan. It was a roller coaster.
It's bizarre, isn't it? No one had expected that result in Denmark. I think the best way I've seen it described, the Scotland team over the last 3 camps, is like, do you know when you're playing pool and you're drunk and you're at the sort of right level of drunk that somehow you're playing amazing pool. But if you have one more drink, you turn absolutely shit. But you've got no, and if you were sober, you'd have no idea what, like, you're in this position where you're bumbling your way through. Somehow we're second in the group with a chance to win at home and go to a World Cup, and we've not played well for a full even 60 minutes, never mind 90 minutes.
I really just
Very
wanted us to, if he's going to play for the point or whatever his plan was, then why would you not play maybe the 4-4-2 type style or an extra man in the midfield? But then if you're wanting to go for it, then you can't be exposing that defence the way he did. I don't know. I thought that obviously we got away with it with a draw, and the attacking play was, really exciting, and that's what we have done in the past with previous performances with this sort of campaign. I don't know if we can. Honestly, are we going to show what's going to show up on tomorrow? Can anyone predict anything that's going to happen? Can anyone say how it's going to go? You can't say you can't. There's no way to describe this campaign other than absolutely mental. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get to the Denmark sort of predictions, the lineups, and what we think the score might be. But major takeaways, Andrew, for you in that Greece game. What were you thinking?
I thought we were fucking shite, honestly.
Sorry, tell us what you really think.
We lost this game. I think everyone's forgetting this. Like, you're hanging on to this little slither of positive. Like, it's not good enough. It's as simple as that. We're only looking at positives because the Danes slipped up. It's as simple as that. If the Danes had won and we were into a playoff, this would be a completely different conversation. You wouldn't be talking about, oh, it was really good to see Gordon and all that. Like, it's nonsense. Like, absolute nonsense. Che Adams and Grant Handley, get them straight in the fucking bin. Like, honestly, they were pish. Like, absolutely rubbish. Che Adams, like,
not John Suter. No?
John Suter was terrible for that first goal. Absolutely, I didn't think he had a good game at all. But Grant Handley was unfortunately marginally worse. But but yeah, absolutely dreadful. A tough watch. I mean, we could have been a good few goals down in the first half. They had really, really good chances that I felt were going in. Like, it was really scary. They only scored once in that first 30 minutes, if you're kind of splitting it into three sort of thirds, so it could have been so much worse. A good reaction, don't get me wrong, in the second half, but it's too little too late. And, Clarke making subs, classically very late again. Shankland and Dykes coming on at 80 minutes or something. It's just like, well, how many times does Che Adams have to show he's having a really bad game? Like, help the fucking player out at least. Like, he's struggling to put the ball in the back of the net, and there's been some good chances to feed him that, and he didn't make the change. So for me, the players let us down, but Clarke let us down as well. I really think that he didn't help them out enough by making those changes. You're right, there are, some positives to take from maybe Christie being, in a more attacking space in the second half. But one thing's clear is he's not there to replace Billy Gilmore as a six. Absolutely not. He's far more useful to Clarke in attacking spaces. Maybe at club level that's slightly different, but now on the whole, I do think that there's just been a little bit more light on it because of the Denmark result. And for me, looking at what Matthew was saying about what can we expect tomorrow, it depends on which, Denmark players don't have the shits, basically, so it's it was a poor watch, and I'm quite glad I'll be driving tomorrow.
Come on, Andrew, man, you didn't get excited at all by anything in that second half. You didn't feel any sort of rumble in the tummy,
No, I mean, I thought, they were in a position where ultimately they had to just go for it. They had to go for it after going 3-0 down. So, for me, that's not a tactical masterclass. That's, your backs are against the wall and the players are having a reaction. We could have won that game. We could have definitely won that game, and I think it was an opportunity lost. Greece's defence were not impressive at all, but we didn't put them under enough pressure throughout the game. Not just within those sort of short spells. So for me, yeah, I just think it was a poor watch, and it was yeah, we're only picking the positives because of the Denmark result. That's my opinion.
Interesting. I think, yeah, in this situation, we have to. I mean, when you're just solely discussing the Greece game, I get why you'd be negative and constructive in that way. I fully understand. I think with the position we're in, the whole country and the squad and the media, everything around it needs to now be positive and kind of almost forget the fact that it was a defeat, because it didn't matter in the end that it was a defeat. You're right. In the first half an hour, Greece had a lot of good chances to score goals. Over the 90 minutes, we had more good quality chances than they did, in my opinion. And a game is over 90 minutes, so we should never have been 3-0 down. We should never allow a team to put you in that position when it's a must-not-lose game. But there were, even though it started so poorly, there were positives for me.
I think a lot of our struggles come from that lack of a six, if you want to call it that. I think even if you're calling for Billy Gilmore to come in, which I think he'd be in my team every day of the week, he's not a natural defensively minded player. Yes, he occupies that kind of space in your own half, picking up the ball, and is a progressive passer and all that kind of stuff. He's not naturally defensively minded. But I think a lot of the gaps in the Greece game came because you're playing Ferguson, who's a box-to-box. For me, naturally, he's much better getting forward as an 8, whatever you want to call it, alongside Christie, who has just recently kind of been played deeper by his club. So without that natural protection for the back four, there's a big part of your team that's kind of missing, where we don't have a Ryan Jack figure who, for all his doubters, was kind of had that kind of mindset, whereas he was defensive first, and also Cal McGregor, who was much more comfortable kind of picking the ball off the back four, kind of pre-Billy Gilmore and alongside him to kind of occupy that space. So without that, you're kind of asking players to drop back where they're not as comfortable. And I think that is why we are better kind of being on the front foot and just kind of taking that whole thing out of the game and not sitting back so much.
Why don't we do that? That's what we're saying in previous episodes, and we said that recently.
Yeah.
Didn't we? Why are we never the ones that start on the front foot? Like, why are we always the ones that start with our backs against the wall? Why do we just give them the ball and say, come at us? And then why can't we take the game?
There's been a couple of games where we've done that. I think the Switzerland game, we started really positively. First 20 minutes, we were really good in the Euros. The Spain game, obviously got an early goal in that game. We started front foot there. It's daft to try and make an argument based on 2 games that I can remember, but I get your point. We need to do it more regularly against teams that are of a similar level to us. We
have to start fast tomorrow. We cannot let the atmosphere, die after we just sit back and lose the ball and just don't have any possession. We have to get at them like really quickly and fucking get some challenges, get some attacking set corners, free kicks, throw-ins, whatever. We need to get up in their faces straight away, because it could have the potential to go wrong quite quickly in this typical Scotland fashion. So,
but this is the thing. That's why I don't get it, because you've got quite a lot of leaders within that group. That this is going to be their last chance. So you think that the whole team would be playing with that kind of mentality, and obviously, Tam, you were saying in the build-up, that was the mentality within the media. And the press releases that the players had done. So to then go on, to this game, which was a really crucial game, and look, we could have been in an amazing position, realistically, given everything that happened with Denmark, but we I don't know, I can't understand why there's not a motivation there. Like it baffles
It's confusing,
me.
yeah. A lot of people are trying to say it's maybe nerves and these big games are getting to the players. I don't know, Jim. What's your take on because it was the same? I remember in Greece 3-0 game at Hampden. My immediate reaction was there was no fight or hunger or spirit. It looks like with the start of the Greece game at home this time, the victory that we got, and again that away performance, the sort of emphasis or willingness to get close players down to do the press, like you said at the start, isn't there. Is that tactical from Clarke? Is it the message getting confused to players? Is it nerves? Is it lack of hunger from the players? What's your take?
I don't know. I think that there's just a lack of cohesion in the kind of the press. And I know I said the press earlier, but I think as a collective, when we are at our best is when we're going at a team and high energy. And I think it must come down to Clarke's kind of setting out of a team, and it's a bit confused. But also, I think a lot of the narrative around like this game and this campaign has been skewed by our recent success. So qualifying for 2 tournaments. See if we were in this position 4 years, 5 years ago, whatever, 1 game away from World Cup, the whole country is completely on board. It's like 2007 against Italy, when there was charity singles got #1, and there was like the whole country was in. There was pandemonium. Like it was mental, and we had to be Italy to get like world champions the year before to get there. This time we've got Denmark, who've got the shits, and are nowhere, like 3 players are out, whatever. They're nowhere near the quality of Italy were. Like we're so close to our World Cup, and I think that's been lost in the kind of. We've been pretty lucky in this campaign, and a lot of the kind of finer details have been poured over. I think at this point we need to look bigger picture and just focus on this as a one-off game against a weaker team, not weaker than us, but a weaker team than we have previously faced.
Yeah.
To get to a World Cup, and it's. I mean, how long since that? 8 years, whatever. Like 27. Yeah, I think math is not the forte. I think bigger picture needs to be looked at here. We are very close to our World Cup. 1 game, and
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
To be in this position at the start of the group, this is the biggest thing for me. If you'd asked every Scotland fan at the start, would you want to be in this position at the start of the group, being on 10 points, 1 point behind Denmark, home game against them to qualify? No, nobody would say no. No one would expect you to have been on 11 or 12 points before we'd kicked the ball. And I think if anyone did expect that before we'd kicked the ball, like you say, it's because the expectations have been raised year on year by Clarke. We've got Denmark and Greece, who are, yes, Denmark aren't the best pot 1 team, but not by a long stretch. But you've got Greece and Denmark, who are we're pot 3. We're the third seeded team, and we're going toe to toe with them. You know, we've gone away to Denmark and drawn without conceding a goal. We've beaten Greece at home 3-1. We've beaten Belarus twice, which you're expected to do. And you go away to Greece and you lose, and that's like, I'm sorry, but you can't expect to win every game. I know it's the manner in which we got beat, and we expect more from this Scotland team. But to be in this position, credit needs to be given to all the players and the staff for getting us to this point. And like you say, it should just be eyes now focused on the positives, which is the Denmark game. So let's get into that in a wee bit more detail with regards to sort of personnel. There was a lot of people, like you said, Andrew, you're one of them, very frustrated with Adam's performance in that last game, and Grant Hanley's, just to name a couple. Craig Gordon had 89 minutes of a really good game. That one wee blip to let in the third goal, which to me, the defence get just as much of the blame as the goalie does.
100%.
But do you think? I mean, it's a 2-pronged question. We'll start with you, Andrew. Will there be changes from that 11, or should there be? What do you think?
I think any significant changes are unlikely. Just because it's just the way Steve Clarke is. But I'm not saying that in a sort of bitter way, you know, in the sense that, you know, it's not done us well. You know, having that club mentality at international level isn't a bad thing. However, I think he really could have helped out Adams, you know, in that last game, for example, by subbing him a bit quicker. And that would have given him a chance to come into this game without so many eyes on him and so much criticism and so much pressure. So for me, if I was a betting man, I'd see the changes being very minimal. You know, you might see more likely a kind of change of shape and you know, potentially if you're going with a kind of two up top, maybe you would see Dykes being introduced instead. But I think Grant Hanley will stay in there. Would I like to see changes there? Yeah, absolutely, because I do think if you can't have your cake and eat it, if you're introducing a club mentality, you also need to be quite ruthless when things aren't going right. And this is a huge game, so we do have talent there on the bench to make replacements, and I think we should. Like that's my opinion, but I can't see it happening.
In each of the last two camps, Hanley's only played one game each camp. He has taken him out for the second game each time, and brought in McKenna. So I think most people are expecting him to do the same again. And it's not because Clarke has never been, and I don't think ever will be, a manager to see a player have a bad performance and drop them based on that one game. Mm-hmm. So I don't think if Hanley's getting dropped, I think it's for other reasons.
I think that's fair enough. And to be fair, I wasn't really aware of that, but I would like to see that rotation happen. And I think that would do Hanley good as well. But on the other changes, as I said, I don't see it likely, but I do think they're necessary. And I understand, you want to have that consistency over a campaign. I totally understand that. But this is the end of the campaign, so this is a cup final, basically. This is kind of how you have to treat it. So ultimately, you need to have your best 11 out. It doesn't matter whether, is this going to carry you through the rest of the campaign and screw up mentality? No, it doesn't matter. This is the end of it. That's it. We need to be going and winning this game. And as James was saying, this is a great opportunity. It's not like we're playing Italy, or a top class team, to try and get through. Even when we did back then, that starting 11 was nothing on what we've got just now. The expectations have been raised by the players that we have, not necessarily just by Clarke. So I think we really need to put our best 11 out and just go for it. This is cup final mentality. I hope they do it. I hope they turn it around and give us the momentum going into the tournament. That would be class. Like that would be world class. But this is the time to get everyone on side.
I've not been too impressed personally with Lewis Ferguson in a Scotland shirt. Not necessarily had a terrible game, but I'm not sure if he provides that same sort of presence in midfield as we've had in the past with the likes of McGregor that you mentioned earlier, or Gilmore in that similar position. James, changes to the team. What would you do? What do you think Clarke's going to do?
So all the kind of the negative aspects of the team are well documented. So the goalkeeper, centre back, centre forward. And they are the positions that kind of let us down in Greece. Adams couldn't finish his dinner. Hanley and Suter were kind of lost at sea. Albeit Craig Gordon, probably one of our better players over the course of the game, he kind of shipped the third. So they're the areas I would look. I'd keep Craig Gordon in. I think that was a bit of a blip in an overall kind of decent record for Scotland. I think he's the safest pair of hands. I'd bring in Scott McKenna. I don't, for the life of me, I don't hate Grant Hanley. I don't, for the life of me, see why Scott McKenna and John Suter are not the partnership that should have been building for the last 3-4 years together. They should have 50 plus caps each, and they should have been, for me, the partnership. I think that should have been the way to go. So I'd bring Scott McKenna in, and I'd bring Lyndon Dykes in for Che Adams, because I think Lyndon Dykes overall
stay one up top. Is that?
I'd stay one up top, and I'd just shift everything up 15 yards and get everything closer to Lyndon Dykes, because he holds the ball up better than Che Adams. Che Adams doesn't score. Neither does Lyndon Dykes, really, but he brings a lot more to the table. He holds the ball up. He brings other people into play. He's better in the air. He's a kind of big game player for me. So your goal away against Norway, I think
against Ukraine he scored.
Yeah. He thrives in these kind of bigger moments for me, as opposed to Adams, who he scored against Denmark home last time. But I think Dykes' overall game, and if we're needing to bring fresh legs on after an hour, we're 1-0 down, Dawn, whatever, I'd bring Shanklin on next to him, and I'd have Dykes and Adam, Dykes and Shanklin as a finisher, a poacher, with Dykes kind of just harrying, chasing. I'd keep the midfield the same. Lewis Ferguson's kind of not put up any trees, I don't think. but he does a lot of the kind of unsung work. I think he was lucky not to get sent off actually against Greece.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought that was going to happen.
Couldn't believe he wasn't taken off at half time. I thought that was a tightrope he was walking.
There's still that confusion about the first yellow card as well, which was written down for for Ferguson after 10 minutes, but it was meant to be for McGinn for chatting back to the ref or something.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, on the UEFA thing, it appeared as Ferguson after 10, and then when Ferguson got his second yellow, Ferguson's name got scrubbed out by UEFA, and it got changed to McGinn as he got his second yellow, or what looked like his second yellow. So we missed that all when we were watching the TV. It's just, I think people who have access to this UEFA monitor thing, commentators and stuff, I'd seen that. So for you, you're sticking with Gordon, I guess Hickey, Robertson, Suter, McKenna. You'll stick with Christie, McGinn, McTominay, Gannon, Doak, Ferguson, and you put Dykes up top.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd have that kind of midfield of Christie, Ferguson, McGinn, McTominay, a bit of a box. I'd have Robertson overlapping on the left and have a Gannon, Doak up on the right, feeding Dykes for the midfield. And I think I don't think there's anyone on the bench that can really be angry at that about not being in the team. I think that's our best team, to be honest.
I think on paper it probably is. Yeah, the way you've described that, I'm just imagining a football manager like tactical board on the Game FM. Who's the Treckerista or whatever it's called? Who's the false nine?
I don't know what that means, so I'll say Lyndon Dykes if he wants it.
Thinks he's Treckerista. Matt, any changes from your perspective? What would you do?
I'd go back to the 4-4-2, mate. I'm an advocate of the 4-4-2. Dykes, and I think he'll play Adams. I don't think he'll drop Adams. Adams is his man. I don't think Clarke is harsh like that. I think he'll continue with Grant Hanley and John Stewart at centre half. I think the midfield will be a 4-4-2 diamond style vibe, pretty narrow. We hope more protection for the defence. And I think we're going to start, pretty deep, but having, Dykes and Adams up front will hopefully allow us to retain the ball a bit better. Maybe win some corners, some free kicks, some throw-ins, really get people going. But yeah, I think 4-4-2. And
you heard it on this pod first, didn't you? 2 months ago. 4-4-2. We'd never seen it from Clarke before, and then he did it in Denmark.
I don't think he's going to swap like for like striker. And if you play the two up front, if you're planning on, starting slower, I think Clarke's not the kind of guy, although we have to win, he doesn't do that, as we've obviously found out. But as I said, Clarke's not even though I've said we should start fast, I don't think he's too, anxious about losing an early goal, so I think we'll start quite deep, but at least having two up front can give us a chance to at least retain some possession in an attacking sense. As I say, Lyndon Dykes is a big battering ram, so hopefully he'll shake them up a bit and get the crowd excited. Is Gilmore fit? Because I was hearing on the sports sound he might play.
No, he's out. He's gone.
Completely out.
He's not trained today, no.
Clarke said today he's out.
It's bloody Pat and Evan talking absolute shite.
Can't trust the man. But what you're saying there, Matt, about starting slow, it's interesting. In Clarke's presser today, he said, the person that was asking the question said, you need to start fast. You've not started fast recently. And he said, no, football is a 90-minute game. So looks like he's maybe going to stick to what he knows and try and pick them off on the counter-attack. But we shall see. So, yeah, we've got a shout for... sorry, I've forgotten what you already said, Andrew. You've said to get McKenna in.
Everyone's shouting for Dykes and McKenna, really, aren't they? But that's it.
He just said he hates everyone and it's got on our pish. That was about his take. Really.
Yeah, that was the gist, yeah.
Interestingly, from the Predictor League, I didn't do this week because we all got 0 points. We'd all predicted a Scotland win or a draw.
I said Scotland would lose.
No, mate, you can shove that up your arse.
You had your chips everywhere.
Yeah, you're a scumbag. So yeah, the leaderboard is where it is. If it was me, I don't see what's wrong with having I don't know why we've never done this. What's wrong with McGinn and McTominay in the centre of the park? They're both centre midfielders, both know how to defend, and put Christie on the left, or put McGinn on the left and have Christie in the middle. 4-4-2, Doak on and Dykes and Adams. What's wrong with that?
Not against it. Not against it.
James is shaking his head.
I don't know. I think you're taking away the best bits of McGinn and McTominay there, though, because they're proficient in kind of sitting there defending, but the best bits of both their games are arriving, or McGinn is kind of driving past people, sticking his arse out. McTominay's best attribute is arriving in the box and scoring. So I think you're kind of nullifying our best players by doing that.
I suppose it depends how you play, though, isn't it? Because if you're pushing and you're attacking, and then you've got Dykes holding up the ball, it gives a great opportunity for them to do what they're best at. But I hear what you're saying. Like, the chances of that actually happening are very unlikely.
I think that would work if you had a 3 in midfield and you had a sitter and you had McGinn and McTominay either side with license to go forward. I don't see with 2 in there how that could work and not be massively exposed.
Yeah, that's why I'm not in the job. I think if we had Gilmore fit, you could definitely do a diamond there. McGinn on the left, McTominay in the 10 of the diamond, and Gilmore sitting holding. Which is why before the Greece game, I'd said Kenny McLean should maybe be getting a start, and you'd maybe drop one of the bigger names. But maybe that's an unpopular opinion.
I'm not against it now. I mean, I think that would be a really sensible idea, given that gap in the first half, particularly for that Greece game. Between the midfield and the defence, it was acres of space. So if you had someone just mopping up there, what a difference it would make. It would allow everyone to do their job, and if you're bringing Dykes in as well, then it further encourages McGinn and McTominay to do what they do best. So it makes sense.
I'm just having a look back to that 0-0 against Denmark, and I know we started Adams and Dykes in that game. It was meant to be the 4-4-2. It was McTominay and Ferguson supposedly in the sort of deeper roles, but I think Christie you can probably swap with McTominay based on what this graphic's showing. Hanley, Suter, Hickey, Robertson. It's more or less the same team, isn't it? Just without Gunn. Because Gilmore didn't start that game, did he? He didn't even come on. He was benched for the full 90. Score predictions then. Let's see how many of us are sending Scotland to the World Cup after tomorrow night. Matthew, we'll start with you. Are you gonna be optimistic?
Yeah, let's say 2-1. Why not? Scotland, come on.
I'll take a first scorer from you.
Lyndon Dykes.
Dykes 2-1. Andrew?
I've got to be positive. Like I've got to, but I'm not feeling overconfident. I'll go with my 1-0 prediction as I did last time. But yeah, I'll stick with that. Hope that's enough.
Who's sticking it in the net?
I'm gonna say Che Adams, just to make me feel like a right dick next time. So yeah, I'll say that.
Come on.
I'll let our guest go last. I'll go with Matt. I'll say 2-1, and I think McTominay to score first. James?
I hate to bring it down on proceedings, lads, but I think we'll draw 2 each.
Come on. This guy was brought on for the positive vibes, man.
I'd much rather finish up tomorrow night being utterly bang wrong at this and in the World Cup. But
yeah.
You could be bang wrong and we get beat 3-0.
But yeah, completely. But I'd rather have the consolation prize of being bang wrong and we draw 2 each and we're not there, and I can.
And he gets the neutrals. Come on.
No, I think it's going to be. I think it'll be. I honestly think it's 2 teams pretty much out of form. I think they're off it. I think they're not. I think they'll be low in confidence. It'll be a slugfest. 2 each.
Well,
Similar.
Ireland scenes, do we not? Ireland scenes.
Oh, don't mention that. I'm just so jealous.
I've been watching those scenes, man. It's so good. Like, that could be us tomorrow. Like, just imagine it.
If we do win, I'm on the park. By the way, just to let you know, Tom, I am on.
Will
the
there be
park.
a pitch invasion? Genuinely, will there be a pitch invasion?
It might be just me, but I'll be on the park.
It's hard to invade the Hampden pitch. It's got that big gap,
Yeah,
doesn't it? It's a pain in
run
the
out
arse.
to a mile to get on.
Ask the Hybees, mate.
It's interesting. I was saying about the Ireland situation. Do you know this? I don't begrudge them their celebrations for the moment because it's a last minute thing to keep their hopes of a World Cup alive. But it shows how far we've come. That was us previously is scraping these wins to try and just get into a playoff. You know, our playoff was secured a month ago, and we're now gunning for a top spot, which it shows how far we've come. We've not been in that position for so long, and Ireland in years gone by have been that team compared to us.
Have they got a better team than us though, on paper?
No, team's pish.
Exactly.
No, but I'm not saying they should be. I'm just saying it's interesting that back then everyone had wanted Scotland to qualify, and we were just delighted to be getting a playoff. There's no point to my point. It's more just saying like it's a good position to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. This is our golden generation. Like we've got to go for this. Like let's do it. Get over the line. Clean slate for the tournament. There you go. Don't embarrass ourselves. That's it.
Since you're on, James, I'll ask you that question. Do you think this is the golden generation of Scotland players, or was 20 years ago the sort of Ferguson and Fletcher, McFadden, Hutton times, was that just as good on paper, those players?
I think the squad currently is kind of split more. I think back Ferguson, McFadden, Fletcher, all that, they were much closer together in kind of standard. I think now we've got much more kind of star quality. Gannon, Doak, Robertson, McGinn's last however long, McTominay, Hickey, but we've still got Grant Hanley playing, who's now at Hibs. We've still got a Ford, and again, love the big man. Genuinely hope he goes to a World Cup, but he's not a great defender. I mean, he's a good defender, but he's not a great kind of international class defender. You've got a 43-year-old Craig Gordon who's come back from about 18 different injuries. You've got Stephen O'Donnell 2 years ago who was still getting in the team. Again, love Stephen O'Donnell, but like this generation is much more divided between the kind of real stars and I think back in the kind of late 2000s we had a more consistent level of player. But I mean, you can't argue with going to two Euros. They didn't get there, so this group of players must be with Clarke as well.
Yeah, or we just had a better gaffer this time round, eh? No offense to Walter and Eck, defended the Rangers man yet again. Right, anyway, that's sort of fizzled out into the last 5 minutes of the episode, and there's no quiz for Matt and Andrew this week. It's our guest quiz leaderboard. We've got to add another name to that. Currently, there's only one. It's Henry. He got 6 points in the quiz.
Yeah, well, I'm not beating that, so I mean, you can just put me in second place already. So.
No, you'll compete all the same. And we'll put a minute on the clock, and it's very simple. It's a bit like Mastermind. If you pass, just give an answer instead of passing is the key. Because if you end up on 6 and you've got 1 pass, you're going to be second to Henry. If you get my gist. Coming up, 1 minute of Scottish football questions for you. If you're ready,
go for it.
3, 2, 1, go. Who scored Scotland's last goal at a men's World Cup?
Scott McTominay. Oh, World Cup, not Euros.
Who was the first manager to win the Scottish Premiership after Rangers were demoted in 12-13?
Neil Lennon.
Yep. Which Scottish club are known as the Wasps?
Alloa Athletic.
If the Bully Wee were playing away at Gallowbank, which 2 teams are playing?
Clyde away at Annan.
Who is the most recent player to score a hat-trick for Scotland?
Stephen Fletcher.
Which team did Celtic beat in the 2003 UEFA Cup semi-final?
Boavista.
Who took the first penalty for Scotland in the shootout versus Serbia?
Callum McGregor.
Which club's mascot is named Wally the Warrior?
Stennismuir.
Which manager led St Johnstone to both Scottish Cup and League Cup in 2021?
Callum Davidson.
Who was the Gretna... I've started, so I'll finish. Who was the Gretna manager in the 2006 Scottish Cup final?
Oh, grey-haired fella.
You got as long as you need for this one.
I'm thinking Dougie something, but it's not Dougie. It's not Davy Irons. It's
no pressure, but this is for 7 points. This is to go top of the leaderboard.
I've not passed anything, so I'm winning.
So you're tied. Henry didn't pass either, so you'd be tied on 6. You'd be joint leaders. So this is for the.
Get on it, Jackie. This is going to keep me up for weeks, by the way.
Well, it won't, because I will tell you the answer eventually.
I never got this.
I think I know the answer.
Oh,
I'll Google it.
Matthew with the pressure.
nah. This is
Think of Mr.
terrible. This is terrible audio.
As long as you don't.
oh,
no,
eh.
no clues. Oh, there's going to be controversy here. Andrew,
I was
the
talking
sanctity of the
about.
quiz.
I was talking about vegan food.
No, don't start your push.
His first name's Rowan, but I still don't know. Rowan.
Yeah, you're not getting the
So-
point.
Aye.
It's Rowan Alexander.
You bastard.
But you're
You wore a
You're
nice
good with
kilt
6
on
points.
the day.
So the
Yeah,
ones that
still
you
kilt,
got
yeah.
wrong. Scotland's last goal at a World Cup wasn't Scott McTominay. It was Craig Burley.
The pressure got to me.
The first penalty taker for Scotland in the shootout against Serbia was Lee Griffiths. And as we just said, Rowan Alexander was the manager of
Oh,
Britain.
that McTominay one will haunt you as well, mate. That'll haunt you. One day, he shot the bed in the
First question, nerves.
Yeah. We grew
Could be
into
in
the
the
game.
glory.
Much like Scotland, we grew into it.
You smashed it.
Yeah,
You
Six
smashed
out
it.
of
I thought
10.
it was a
Not-
good performance.
Not bad at all, yeah. Right, before we close off the episodes, every time there's a big Scotland game, which seems to be about every other week at the minute, Matthew tends to give us a rousing speech in the style of Matthew, just pretending he's Steve Clarke in the Scotland dressing room before the players go out. So, Matthew, to close us off, how are Scotland going to do it?
Okay. 28 years. 20 bloody 8. Babies have been born. They've gone to school. They've gone to university. They've got been married. They've had babies themselves. Those babies are now in school and, doing other activities. Generations have been born and grown. I've never seen Scotland at a World Cup. Andy Robertson, John McGinn, Scott McTominay, Craig Gordon, man, the guy's 42. He's fucking ancient. He wants to go to a World Cup. I want to go to a World Cup. You want to go to a World Cup. Don't necessarily want to go to America, but it's okay. We'll go to the World Cup. You've got a chance. 90 minutes in front of your fans, your adoring fans, who have followed you for 20 years. Blood, sweat and tears, pain and misery, near misses, moments of desperation. Let's give them a night they will never forget, a memory that will be etched in their minds forever, a chance to write your name in history amongst greats like Craig Brown, Craig Burley, Kevin Gallagher, Tommy Boyd, John Collins. You will be living off of this moment for the rest of your life. You'll be going to dinners in like 30 years. Memorial dinners that they do every certain. Do you know? There'll be memorial dinners for the team that will go to Scotland to a World Cup. You can go on I'm a Celebrity, Strictly Come Dancing. You'll be famous forever. We've only got to go and beat Denmark, who we've beaten before at Hampden, who are alright, but they're not super good, as we've realised. They're no Italy 2007. You can. Let's do it. Let's get to the World Cup. Let's have a party. Come on. And that's it, sorry.
Oh, that was great.
Do you feel motivated for that?
Yeah, I thought you were just going to do a list of Craigs.
Oh, that's incredible.
Craig Brown, Craig Burley.
It
Craig.
turned
Just-
into more like
you
a
were gonna
bedtime
run it.
story near the end.
Run out 10 Craigs on the list. That's great.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, really.
That's really good. I liked it. Motivational.
I've changed my prediction. I think we're going to smash it.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's really got me.
Get that played round Hampden tomorrow.
It was the bit about the memorial dinners that got me going, like. The thing, I don't know. It could be on sports.
You
Service
one
again.
day could give an after dinner speech.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it for the after dinner speaking circuit in 10 years' time.
Yeah, as you can tell, I was told about this about an hour ago, so I haven't prepared anything. I had a sort of idea in my
That's good.
mind, and I forgot what I was thinking, and then I just sort of went off a bit of a tangent, as per usual.
That was
Wait,
great,
so
man.
that
was
wasn't-
great.
That wasn't just off the cuff.
No, it was off the cuff.
That was somewhat prepared.
Well, no, I was sort of thinking about it whilst the podcast was on, roughly what I was going to say, but then I sort of started a bit about the kids, and then I kind of lost it from there, really.
You got the first 5 seconds nailed down, and then
Yeah,
after that it
of course
crumbled. Oh, brilliant! Right, that's enough Tinpot for one episode. Thanks so much for listening. If you've joined us this far, this is coming out Tuesday, the day of the big game, the biggest Scotland game since '98. So yeah, enjoy. Hopefully this is getting you in the mood for it. Leave us a comment. Let us know your score predictions. Let us know if Matt's speech got you in the mood. And before we close off, just thanks to Jim for joining us. It's been great to have you on as a guest. Hopefully you'll return for one in the future. It's been good fun.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you. And from Matt and Andrew, cheery bye.
Thank you.